You're listening to the Word Slinger Podcast, episode 008, Luau Like a Local with JoAnn Takasaki. This episode of the Word Slinger Podcast is brought to you by me, Kevin Tomlinson, and my new book, Citadel Omnibus, which collects all three of the Citadel books in one volume for the very first time. Go check it out online at Amazon.com.
It's the Word Slinger Podcast, where story matters. Build your brand, write your book, redefine who you are. It's all about the story here. What's yours? Now, here's the guy who invented Pants Optional, Kevin Tomlinson, the Word Slinger.
Word Slinger.
Hi everybody, it's Kevin Tomlinson, the Word Slinger, and I am really thrilled to be chatting with you again. I am once again in a car. Actually, I'm still in the same car. If you were listening to last week's episode, I got a little secret for you. I'm actually recording this directly after recording that, so cheated. I'm just trying to compress time here because I got another podcast coming up shortly, and I've got a little bit of time, and I've got a couple of backlog episodes to create wrappers for, so you gotta take your moments, you know. So this week I'm talking to JoAnn Takasaki, who is a good friend of mine and a co-worker of sorts. We do some work together. She has a agency called Global Rights, which provides content and marketing services for businesses and nonprofit organizations, and that's not what we're talking about, though. So that's the interesting thing here is what we're going to talk about, a cookbook, which is something she pulled together. JoAnn's got a little bit of a Hawaiian background in her family, and her mother flew in from Hawaii to help her create a bunch of recipes and get them into a book along with a few family stories to tie everything together. And so we've got a nice sort of genuine Hawaiian culinary feel to the whole thing. Very cool. My wife and I have the book. We've tried a recipe. I completely bombed. I think it's my fault. I improvise too much when I cook. I'm not a culinary master yet. I had to take some classes or something, but so I thought this would add a little extra flavor to the podcast. So I hope you dig it. JoAnn's a wonderful person. She's brilliant. I love doing work with her. And this the cookbook is also gorgeous. So it's a great countertop kind of thing to have just sitting around. And for something new, if you're not familiar with this kind of cuisine, you can try a little something new, add a new bit of spice to your life. You can check out JoAnn's book online. You can find it on Amazon, but if you go to luaulikealocal.com, you can find it there, buy it straight off Amazon right from that site. So check it out, and check out this week's interview with JoAnn Takasaki, author of Luau Like a Local. Okay, well, I'm here with JoAnn Takasaki, who is the author of Luau Like a Local, among other things. Hi, JoAnn. How you doing?
I'm great, Kevin. Thanks for calling me.
No problem. Actually, I've kind of looked forward to this because you and I go back a ways, and I've actually bought and used your book. I kind of made a mess of it, and I don't remember which recipe we did, but we'll try again. So,
oh no!
Yeah, well, we're not exactly known for our culinary skills here in the Tomlinson household. So if it can't be microwaved, it's pretty much got no chance.
Dang it! I knew it was supposed to be the easy way. I should have included a microwave recipe or something.
That's right.
There are a couple of no-cook recipes in there, though.
Yeah, there are, and we're going to try some of those. So we got ambitious, I think, on our first try. I was interested in talking to you because this podcast is about story, and the at the heart of your cookbook is a lot of story. It's all about these family recipes and everything, right?
Yeah, these are. This was actually a personal project, and and I wanted to organize my family recipes in some fashion, and a luau seemed to be a good way to capture a bunch of things, and also I don't know, just pull it all together and give me something to shoot for instead of this endless collection of recipes.
Yeah.
Because my parents both cook, and they cook well, and they cook a lot. So this gave me a discrete, start and end.
Yeah. How's it doing so far?
Well, given that I was, only planning on making sure that my family, my immediate family, and some of the extended family had copies, it's doing awesome. Every sale over 20 is just unbelievable. I can't believe, there's something like 360 people who now have Luau Like a Local in their homes.
Very cool.
It's so cool.
I'm one of those, yeah. And I know a couple other people who are. But it's a great, I really kind of like the way you pulled it all together. Like the photography and everything is great. And you actually went out and had someone do, you didn't use like stock imagery or anything. You had a photographer come in.
Yeah, actually, it was my mom flew in from Honolulu, and we cooked for 3 days. And we had my friend Mike Tillman, who was just starting out as a photographer and wanting to build up his food portfolio. He came over and he photographed everything, and we threw a huge party. Over 60 people came, and it was like 13 hours. People came for lunch. I was thinking, okay, so if I make this at lunchtime, then we'll be done by 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we can get some rest. And it ended up being a 13-hour party where people came for lunch, and then they went home to take a nap, and they came for dinner.
Yeah. I'm a little sad that I was not in that group.
It was before I knew you.
Yeah. So
we had 13 gallons of Mai Tais, and then by the end of it, it was more like trash can punch.
Yeah, no joke. We'll have to do that again. Just me and you and a few close friends. You are. I'm really interested though in hearing how the sort of family stories weave into this, because thumbing through the book, there are some instances in there, and it was interesting just to kind of read through it and get a little bit of family history. But how did that factor in? Like how does your family story influence this book?
Well, actually, I wasn't even going to put any kind of family story in here. And my best friend in the whole wide world, Chris Van Heaton, she's the one who told me that I needed to add some of our family stuff in here. And I couldn't. I'm not funny in writing. Some people can do humor in writing, and I can't. And then I'm also somebody who uses cookbooks sort of as the recipes as guidelines, and I'm not interested in stories. So the whole idea of doing something like, whatever, chicken soup for the soul type of thing just totally turned me off. She was trying to encourage me to, because she's heard all of my family stories and she actually, knew my grandparents and all of that. We've been friends since we were kids. And so her husband is hysterically funny, and he is able to do that well in writing. So she made him do some editing. So he's one of the editors of the cookbook, Sid Heaton, and he has a website called Office Odyssey, and chronicling his family, his journey as a telecommuter over the years. Anyway, he edited, and he knew all the stories too, and he threw in some of the funny stories, and he had me rolling so much reading, even some of the instructions on what to do, like massaging massaging the salmon and whispering sweet nothings. That's actually all him. And I was in tears by the third recipe or so. It really did add a lot, but I actually can't say, those are Well, some of them are not family stories. My grandmother never actually said any of those things that I attributed to her, but
I'm so disillusioned.
some of them are. She didn't speak Hawaiian. But the recipe, most of the stories are true. It's through a specific filter, though.
Yeah, all the best stories are. So the whole point was, what you're telling me though is that there will be no poi for the soul book, is what you're
no. I mean, it does kind of taste like glue. I mean, nobody wants to eat poi.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd try it. I don't think. In fact, no. I've never tried it. I'll have to whip some up or something, or have you do it. You'll do better than
actually, I have some.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I do have poi, and it's for me, it's more of a nostalgic food to have around, but not because I love it.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But I served it at the book launch party at Nicole Longnecker Gallery, and it was actually a huge hit. People were excited to try it, and some people loved it.
Yeah.
People who had never had it or anything like it, they just loved it. So it actually went better than I thought it would.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to come by and try it. So what kind of went into the process of this? I mean, I know you had your lunch day, where you made everything and then got smashed on Mai Tais. What other than just gathering family recipes? I mean, you brought your mom into the area for this. So was there like a research component here besides just having your mom involved?
No. I mean, my mom is. She's one of those cooks that everything is a little bit or some, or so the research component really was. It took a while actually to nail down what some and a dash and a little bit and a skosh, what that actually means. And she's like, oh, you got to do it to taste. I was like, well, but this is a cookbook, so a lot of people don't know what the taste is. You know. So we spent a lot of time. So the big photo shoot luau party was the final test of the recipes.
Very cool.
So we actually tried to not editorialize, because we knew how to make it. Instead, we actually tried to follow the recipes as provided, and we tested all the recipes.
Did it turn out okay?
It did. It was a great party. It was great food.
Did the recipes turn out the way you expected them to, though? Like, she's cooking by feel, like using the force or something, and you're having to quantify it. I mean, did they taste the same when they were all done?
They did. I did. I how it happens when you write a book. I did find a couple of errors in this edition. Not to say that there's a second edition or anything coming out. I'm not committing to that, but to correct all the errors. Well, one of them is in the lomi salmon recipe. I think I say that you're supposed to cut the green onions into 2-inch lengths, and Mom and I didn't catch that until after it was published, and I'm like, oh shoot.
So this
is sort of a chop.
Oh.
This is supposed to be a chop. But because I had pictures, I'm hoping that people will pick up on it because it's shown in the pictures chopped. So
next one you need to do them sort of IKEA instruction style. Just have two people, little cartoon characters, standing at a chopping block, cutting vegetables.
Well, my husband is a comic artist, so maybe I can get him to illustrate for me.
Yeah, there you go. So you actually, though, you get a title I don't get because you actually topped, you became a bestseller with this, right?
Yeah, well,
Technically?
Yeah. It's a very specific niche, right?
Yeah.
So, 17 categories down in Amazon.
Yeah.
I was Luau Like a Local went to #1 in its first month on Amazon in Hawaiian regional cookbooks.
Hey, man.
So we beat out Spam. I actually think that we contributed to Spam getting a bump in sales because there's a Spam cookbook out there.
You guys should totally partner up now.
Yeah. Well, what's actually great is that everybody asked me if there's a Spam musubi recipe in this, and I said, actually, no. I mean, for us, Spam was breakfast, not part of our luau.
Yeah. That's just it.
So this isn't a Hawaiian, general Hawaiian cookbook. This is specific to a luau party.
Yeah. I grew up in small town southern Texas, and it was breakfast for us too, so no worry.
You'd be right at home.
Yeah.
We had rice instead of tortillas, though.
Oh, okay. Well, we never had tortillas. I can't remember ever having tortillas when I was growing up. We had corn tortillas. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I tell people when I'm doing coaching that if one way to sort of bump up your success, or at least the perception of success, is to own a category. So, I mean, you actually did something that a lot of people try to do on purpose, which is you ended up owning that Hawaiian culinary section on Amazon. Not a lot of people get to do that. Count that as a win.
It was really cool. It was really cool. I had no idea. I mean, the whole experience, everything, the overwhelming support from friends and even random people. It's just been amazing. It's just been amazing. So every little milestone like that I've been completely blown away.
You need to totally put best-selling author on your business cards now. If you don't, I'll be disappointed.
I am. I despite being in marketing, I'm incredibly shy and terrible at self-promotion.
You gotta ditch that.
I know. I really do.
That's why you got guys like me around to kind of encourage you to embrace that, all those marketing ins and outs. You got to start promoting that. So, all right, you're already telling me that you got no plans for a follow-up, but seriously, no plans for a follow-up ever? You're never going to do another cookbook or any other kind of book?
Well, I still need to collect more recipes from my mother. So my mom, actually, she's a Brooklyn city girl, and she would burn the pan when she was boiling water. And then she marries my father, and she moves to Hawaii, and he's in the Army, and so he gets stationed in Korea. So she's stuck in Hawaii by herself with his family, who she doesn't know. And her mother-in-law, my grandma, owns an okazuya, which is a Japanese deli, basically near Waikiki. Wow. And so that's where my mom learned how to cook. And so Mom and I have talked about doing another cookbook, maybe capturing all of those specifically Japanese recipes.
Wow, that'd be cool.
Even my aunt and my father's sisters, they come to her and say, "Oh, hey, can you make nishime?" which is like a Japanese stew, because only she makes it like my grandma makes it.
Right.
Or like my grandma used to make it.
That's pretty cool. And I got to tell you, I don't know a lot of Japanese dishes. So I would never, anytime I've gone to a Japanese restaurant, I don't know what to order. So I'm going to have to hit you up to tell me what would be good. But it would be interesting to see, because some of that stuff seems like such a mystery to me.
Yeah, it's the food that a lot of the food, including this luau food, it's just, for me, it's just it's the equivalent of down home cooking. Uh-huh. It isn't necessarily the fanciest food or whatever. I mean, I definitely was trying not to do a kitschy tiki book with Luau Like a Local.
Right.
I was trying to appeal more to the urban foodie who wanted sort of an authentic experience.
Yeah.
So, it's actually, as anyone who's cooked pulled pork, it's actually kind of difficult to make pulled pork look pretty in a picture. But yeah, even like the nishime, it's basically beef stew. I just don't know how it's going to photograph very well. But somehow Mike Toman, and with the help of Bebe Garcia, she's one of my other best friends, she art directed, and we happen to have good light, and so there's one picture, I can't remember which one it is, where she's literally holding a bird of paradise into the photo, and we're cutting star fruit to put on soup, which you would never do for the to add texture and color and stuff. And so yeah, nishi and the cream spinach with octopus in a coconut milk. Hard to make that look pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Toman did an excellent job with that, but yeah, it's I'm not sure how nishime is gonna work. I mean, we've got some lotus root in there, so that adds for interesting shape and stuff like that.
It's all on how you plate it.
Yeah.
Check out this
Plating
beautiful bowl with squid.
Exactly. And actually, the pokey is a Mexican guacamole bowl.
Oh, okay.
That I borrowed from my mother-in-law. It's a lava looking bowl, but it's for guacamole. But yeah, it's all on the plating. Again, raw fish can be difficult.
Yeah, this just tends to be colorful, though. You can actually, depending on what raw fish you're using, I guess. But
yeah, exactly. So it was a very interesting and fun exercise. It was hard, as you would know.
Yeah, well, anything worth doing is hard, right? Usually.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So, if someone were interested in doing this, I mean, doing something like this, I mean, no one's going to come along and make another luau like a local, but, my family has tons of recipes, and I somehow inherited them all. I have boxes and boxes of my grandmother's old recipes, but if someone wanted to put something like this together as a commercial enterprise rather than just something to hand out to the family at the holidays, I mean, what advice would you give them?
I had a lot of problems with CreateSpace, which is Amazon's publishing tool.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a project manager for most of my career, and there was a certain lack of transparency using that tool. I had no idea what to expect when, which caused for a lot of anxiety for me. On the other hand, if you don't have any design skills and you need an editor, and you haven't been working in web for 20 years like I have and know what a good interface is and and you follow the directions, they do have a good editing arm, and the design, this book is a template based cookbook. Now, I didn't have any visibility into the templates that were available to me, but I think that they made a good decision. So anyway, for the novice, I would say that CreateSpace is a great way to go. Because I have designer friends, and because I have editing friends, and because I have all kinds of knowledgeable people who could have done this for me, I probably, in retrospect, would have preferred to pay them instead of the CreateSpace to do it.
Yeah.
But there are an incredible number of resources available to you via CreateSpace, and as and Amazon, they actually pay out the best royalties out of all of the self-publishing tools that are out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they just, no one touches them as far as royalties. So if you're looking to make a little bit more money as well, then I'd say stick with CreateSpace and Amazon and all of that.
Are you using their expanded distribution?
I am, but I haven't really taken advantage of that.
Yeah.
The other thing too that I wasn't expecting, I went ahead and ordered the hard copy version of the book to be done. There is a conversion fee, so you start off with a paperback, and then you can pay an extra $90 to get a hard copy version of it. But apparently, and I didn't know this, that hard copy is not something that is available for purchase online. So I can purchase hard copies, but nobody else can.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I wasn't even aware that you could do a hard copy through CreateSpace.
Yeah, you can. It's virtually meaningless. I guess for like book tours. Or I did the Manila Indie Book Fest, so specialty things, events like that. You can give somebody, or they have the opportunity to purchase something that's a little bit more special, I guess. But
at $90, I mean that's not a real good ROI. Most people aren't going to want to pay you $100 for a book, especially a thin cookbook or something.
Oh no, that was my cost to get the conversion done. So
I see.
Now the hard copy could be available to others, and I don't know what the sale cost would be, the retail cost per book would be, but I would assume that I get to set that price, but but I don't know. So I let that go ahead and die on the vine. I mean, I approved the hard copy version that they sent me, but I basically let that die. Same with the Kindle version. I haven't ever purchased a cookbook on my Kindle. Yeah. So I bought, I had the conversion done, but this is a cookbook, and there was a reason that I laid it out the way that I did, to make sure that page breaks happened the way that I wanted it to make sure that photos went with the instructions next to it,
Yeah.
And on the electronic versions of it, I realized once I saw that the Kindle version proof that I wouldn't have any control over that. People can choose their font sizes and all of that, and I'm having a hard time letting go.
Yeah. Well, and I can see why. I mean, in your case, in my case, in the case of most like fiction or even nonfiction authors, there's no reason not to allow or let go of that control, because it's the reader's experience at that point. But what you have is a much more guided experience, and if they can't associate the instructions with the image that's supposed to illustrate it, I could see that as being a big problem.
Yeah. So anyway, I would warn people, if you're doing fiction, where the image doesn't necessarily need to accompany text, then I don't think it's that big of a deal. But yeah. So anyway, those are the things that I would say. CreateSpace is a great tool for most people, and Amazon has a great royalty payout and easy peasy, direct deposit, and then they handle distribution, so it is hands off once you get it live. You just it's just easy.
Yeah.
And then then be mindful of the add-on charges like hardcover and digital conversions, depending on the type of book that you have.
Right.
So
It's interesting.
those are the 3 pieces of advice.
Okay. And if so, all right, you have, and you told me earlier it's just a splash page, but at least it's a place where people can read up and see more about it. But you have luau.com is the website, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm on it right now, actually. Very orange. I'm kidding. You know what's funny is I have a monitor in my recording booth, and it for some reason won't go above 800 by 600. So when I put your site on that monitor, it's all crunched in there. So the good news is your site looks good even at 800 by 600. So the bad news is
Oh, cool.
I can only see like a square of it at a time. But that's more my problem than your problem.
We did. This is a responsive site.
Yeah.
You know, being a web professional that I am, I did request that. It's a very it's not a site. It's a splash page,
Yeah.
really.
But I like that you have a trailer for the book, which I have not watched, but that's pretty cool. And I people ask me all the time about book trailers, and I think for something like what you're doing, I could see it. I've tried to help people pull off the book trailer for fiction work, and it's unless you've got a lot of money and time to put into it, there's no real point in doing it.
Yeah,
but
well,
it is nice for something like this.
Yeah, this one lends itself really easily to that.
Yeah.
So Andrew Carnivus actually put it all together for me, including doing original music.
Yeah.
So the background music is Andrew playing on his ukulele, and I did the voiceover. He came over and he literally put me in a corner with a mic.
Okay.
And we did the recording. He actually scripted it as well, based on everything, because I was just too close to it, you know.
Yeah.
I was just so.
It's good to have
and then
resources.
my mom scanned in photos, and so yeah, this book definitely lends itself to the trailer, whereas fiction, unless you are yourself a motion graphics designer, especially fantasy sci-fi stuff.
Yeah. But this is it's a very visually appealing book, I'll say. And I mean, I know you had someone on CreateSpace do the cover, but you made the choices. Like your photo, you told me a story about the photo for the front cover. Like that was the only one that fit.
That was the only photo that we had that had enough blank space above her arm to fit the text.
It looks like you planned it that way. I mean, it actually, it looks like you structured the whole thing for that to be the cover photo. So, good work.
Yeah, well, I did. Yeah, and luckily, you know, we did the photo shoot because originally I was going to try and contact publishing houses to do this, and actually 10 Speed Press is on my list, and I got shot that whole I can't promote myself thing, and yeah, so I did pitch to several publishers. They all loved it, and I sent photos along as part of the little pitch, just so that they could get a feel for it.
Yeah.
And that's what the photos were really meant for. Well, I mean, I did have a thought that maybe one day I would have to self-publish this. I was advised not to, but then again, I started this 8 years ago, so self-publishing was still
it's changed
considered
a lot.
Yeah. So.
And you still have the option, by the way, to you could always sell this over, not sell it, but I mean you could give rights to this to a publisher to reproduce on your behalf at this point too. So you're not limited.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I figured. I could tell them, look, in its first whatever year of sales, you know, this gained enough traction and all of that.
It was a bestseller.
Yeah, it was a bestseller that 1 month. Yeah, maybe I should have you go ahead and pitch for me.
You want me to do this? I can do this. I can do this. We'll have this thing humming. Uh, well, it's a great book, and my wife and I were thrilled. And Kara loves to try new things, even though they don't always turn out successful. I actually ruined the our Hawaiian night, so that was all my fault. And I cannot remember which recipe I tried, but and it wasn't ruined. It was just sort of I don't think this is how this was meant to taste. And I think we had to improvise on one of the ingredients, so that's all my fault. But love the book. I mean, we got it's sitting on our countertop right now. It's one of the most attractive things on our counter right now.
Well, thanks. I love that. Well, so now that there are so many people who have a copy of the cookbook, it occurred to me the other day that I could do a luau, and we can do it potluck style.
Yeah, potluck luau.
Yeah, because throwing it was so worth it to throw a party for 60 friends and feed them for 13 hours, but it gets really expensive when you're talking about feeding that many people. So potluck is definitely the way to go. That's the super easy way.
Yeah, you should totally do that. And you should totally have somebody there to videotape the whole thing and use that in your marketing, potluck luau. We'll get you hooked up.
That's the second edition.
Second edition, potluck luau for the soul. All right. Well, I've soaked up enough of your time, but I really enjoyed the book, and I think other people will too. And it's interesting. It's kind of like a little microcosm of the self-publishing industry at work. It's kind of interesting to see it work because you're enough of a niche book that a lot of what you're doing is the same stuff that I tell clients to do. As far as find something a category you can own as much as possible, and get help, which was basically what you were saying with CreateSpace. Now you have some advantages that a lot of people don't have, but it is good to know you even went the route that a lot of people recommend, which is to go through CreateSpace or some other service. There's for cover design, there are plenty of services out there like 99 Designs, and so if you're not limited by the resources that you have immediately at your disposal, so you're kind of a nice little case study for self-publishing.
I never thought of that, but you're right.
You are, though. You are. I'm totally going to write this up now.
Right on. So. Actually, and I would like to consult with you to take it to the next level, because I still haven't, my original intent was to do, to get this onto various other readers and other things. So maybe we can sit down sometime. I'd love your advice.
You talk to me, and I got tons of ideas, but you may not like all of them because a lot of them are going to involve you doing another book.
Yeah,
you got to have a funnel, and you've got a nice, entry here and a nice way to get people in, and you do things like takes a couple of the recipes here and there, and you do Facebook or Twitter posts based on a quick recipe or that sort of thing. And there's all kinds of things you could do to start marketing this, but you're gonna have to get over that shy bit.
I know, isn't that weird? I mean, shy is not a word that anyone associates with me.
No, I know. That's why it's so surprising. That's not an adjective I'd use for you. But I do get what you're saying, though, because it's one thing, especially if your job is to promote other people. Like you have, and I'm going to mention your company, because you own and operate Global Rights at globalrights.com, right?
Yes.
Okay, I got that right.
Yes.
I mean, I knew I got the name of the thing right, but I didn't know if I got the website right. But yeah, and you provide those sorts of services for other people, but it's different when you have to do it for your own work. And I understand that, believe me, because there's tons of stuff that I do for clients that I don't do for me. Mostly because I don't pay me very well. But
exactly.
there's also that aspect of you don't. It feels like brag, or it feels like you're full of yourself, or whatever. The
Yeah,
fraud
it is
police.
hard to I don't know, stay genuine in some ways without feeling like you're putting a show on or something. I don't know.
See, that's why you got
So
to hire other people. So if someone else is having trouble doing this, they should hire you to take on their marketing for them.
yes, because I can market the heck out of other people.
That's
I love
right.
other people. I am the biggest fan of everyone.
You and I should market each other's work then. That's what we'll do.
We should. In fact, you need to give me copies of your book to put into the
Damn
Maison
it, I do.
Derrière.
You've only been telling me this for like 2 years, so yeah, you're right.
You know what? Forget about it. I'm actually just going to purchase copies and put them in the Derrière.
Oh, I can't stand it. Don't. You're making me feel horrible.
Yeah. I
You're
will,
making me feel
I don't know
horrible.
why I haven't done
Okay,
that. I think it's because we keep saying every time we see each other, like, oh, yeah, you need to get me copies. And then
it's in my brain and out my brain. I'll tell you this. There were two things that literally just happened. One, and I don't know if it took before I made the order. I ordered copies of the books, of all my books that are in print. I ordered multiple copies just for this kind of thing. Because people have been asking me, and I keep putting it off for one reason or another. And then the other is I redesigned the covers slightly for the Citadel books. So hopefully that took before the orders went through. And if they did, even if they didn't, I mean, I will definitely, I have them. They're on their way. You'll get copies, I promise.
Oh, cool. In fact, give me 2 sets. I'll put one in the Derrière, and I'll keep a set.
And you should tell people what you mean by put it in the Derrière, because that's not going to read well.
Oh, sorry. Right. I have an Airbnb guest house that is our garage apartment, which is behind our house. So we call it Maison Derrière.
Yeah.
Because it's the house behind.
Yeah.
But also because it's really funny.
It is very funny. And people give me very interesting looks when I'm telling them about it. And if you're going to be in the Houston area and you want to stay in it's a gorgeous B&B. I mean, I've been in there. I never stayed there, but I mean, you've shown me around. It looks great, and it's in the Montrose area, like within spitting distance of one of my favorite coffee shops. So, if you're going to be in the Houston area, that's an awesome place to stay.
And just mention Kevin's name or this podcast, and I'll give you a discount.
Sweet, and you might get a chance to read some of Kevin's books while you're sitting there.
Yes, exactly. Hey, look at us. We're already cross-promoting.
Look at that. All right. Well, thanks so much for taking time to talk to me. And, this is great. And I want to mention your website, which is luaulikealocal.com. And you can always pick the book up on Amazon. Search for Luau Like a Local or JoAnn Takasaki. I love saying your name. I say it to Kara all the time. I know like 40 JoAnns, and you're the only one I say your name in total.
It's kind of like, Takasaki, let the good times roll.
Yeah, exactly, right. It's got a rhythm, man. It sounds like we should be having a luau with a big bucket of Mai Tais. So check her out online, and if you need some marketing for your own stuff, go check her out at globalrights.com and let her know I sent you. And now you got the whole B&B. Man, you've got a whole empire building up here. We need to get you some money rolling.
Yeah, I'm terrible at self-promotion.
We'll fix that. That's a Happy Pants Creative job. So, all right. Well, thanks so much for being on the show with me. And if people have questions, sometimes people will email me questions. You have any problem with me flinging them your way, and maybe even having you back on the show sometime?
I'd love to.
Okay.
And thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in with us, and we will talk to JoAnn another time.
Woohoo!
Well, that was JoAnn Takasaki, author of Luau Like a Local, which is increasingly difficult to say as time goes by, and difficult to spell. I had to try several times to get the URL right, but if you go to Luau Like a Local, and Luau is Luau, like a local, LOCAL.com, luaulikealocal.com, you can actually kind kind of get a little preview of the book and see a photo of JoAnn and her mom, and you can order straight off that site. So you can get it on Amazon as well, directly from Amazon. It's a gorgeous book. I think she doesn't have the ebook version, but you can get the print version, and it's got a gorgeous cover. Looks really good. So go check that out, luaulikealocal.com. And JoAnn Takasaki also provides some content and marketing services for businesses and nonprofits through her agency, Global Rights, which you can see at globalrights.com. That's Global Rights as in WRITES, globalrights.com. It's primarily copy services, and they can do other things. So go check them out. I do a little work with them every now and then, which is how I know JoAnn, and it's sort of an amazing small agency. Oh, did you hear that? My engine's going to shut off in a few seconds. So that's a little bonus to the show. That's what happens when you record in a car. Sounds good though, right? So, at any rate, I was thrilled to talk to JoAnn. If you have questions for JoAnn, you can probably contact her through her site at luaulikealocal.com. But if you can't seem to do that, feel free to hit me up. Go to wordslingerpodcast.com, which is a little bit under construction at the moment. But if you keep clicking buttons there, you'll come to the contact page. You can leave me a voicemail, or you can send me an email right there from the landing page. And you can also ask me anything you want to know. I'm looking for topics. So if you've got an interesting topic, something that you'd like to hear the story of, let me know. I am not afraid to approach people. I am perfectly willing to put myself out there and try to talk to anybody. So recommend a show topic, recommend a guest. If you'd like to be a guest and you got something story related you'd like to talk about, hit me up. I may bring you in, but otherwise just ask me anything. So, and be sure to go on iTunes and subscribe to this podcast and click a few stars. I'd love some 5-star ratings if you're willing to hand them out. But subscribe so you can kind of catch up each week. We can spend a little wee time together. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much. Visit me online I'll give you the old address. kevintumlinson.com/podcast is one way to get there, but you can go to wordslingerpodcast.com starting very soon. And take care of yourselves out there. I appreciate everything you do for me, which is mostly just listen and tune in. So take care of yourselves, and we'll talk soon.